Welcome to Daniel Grant Economics, where we take a look at the CAPE Economics syllabus. We're going to be taking a look at a lot of the topics that present a lot of difficulties to students in their quest to get a 1. So today's our first episode. We're beginning with scarcity and some concepts in and around it. We're going to go right up to the production possibility frontier, as well as looking at some of the various shapes the production possibility frontier can take, and of course some of its changes. Brief introductory topic, and we're going to begin now. Let's discuss scarcity. What is it? Scarcity truly is what you're experiencing in your everyday life.
Do you need some money?
It is the fact that you, as an individual, have a lot of wants and needs. List some of the things you wanted. New iPhone, looking for a PlayStation 5, you want to buy this game, trying to buy this sneaker. But then you have limited resources in which to acquire those things.
Jaden has $1 bill, 1 quarter, and 2 pennies. How much money does he have? Jaden broke.
Of course, unlimited wants and needs. As human beings, we have a lot of wants and needs, and then the resources that we have are quite limited to get those things. Even if you're super rich, you still have limited resources versus unlimited wants and needs. Now, the mere fact that these two things are clashing creates a situation of scarcity, where the resources that we have are not enough to get everything that we want and need. Now, because of the fact that we have unlimited wants and needs, scarce resources, persons must now make a choice in terms of what to acquire. When your parents get money during the week, you just gotta go out and buy everything you want. You make a choice in terms of, hey, what do I think would give me the most satisfaction? What do I think I would enjoy the most when I spend on it? You make a choice. And in choosing, you sacrifice something to gain something. And in economics, this is one of the most common concepts that we have. It's the concept of opportunity cost. The thing about opportunity cost, which we need to be clear about here, is the fact that opportunity cost is not the entire grocery list of stuff that you miss out on. Like if I have $5 and I buy a Bigfoot, I wouldn't say the opportunity cost of that Bigfoot is the Soul Pruny Red Mango, the Red Pop, or this soft drink by it. No, it's not the entire list. What opportunity cost is, it is the next best thing. Just the one thing, the next best thing for going and choosing one thing over another. That is it. In order for us to move forward in our analysis, we must talk about two separate goods. One being a free good and one is an economic good. So the question is, what is a free good? Well, as the name implies, it's a good that has no cost attached to it. If you're in Barbados, consider walking on Bats Rock Beach. There's no cost to that. You can just go. Consider taking a deep breath in your home. There's no cost to that. There is no opportunity cost generated there when you do that, when you take a deep breath. It's free. It's a free economic good. And if you contrast that to what an economic good is, it costs something. It's scarce. When you consume it, it makes it so that there's less to consume for other persons. That's how we know it's scarce. Like if I go to Maracas Beach in Trinidad and Tobago, there is no cost to anybody else to come on the beach. When I go and I spend 8 hours there, someone else coming right after me experiences the same thing I experience. But economic goods are different. If I go to the grocery and I buy every single pack of Bigfoot on the shelf, whoever comes after me can't get any Bigfoot. Unless they buy it from me, of course, for a profit. But that is a different conversation. So do we have those things clear? A free good is a good with no cost attached, while an economic good is a good with a cost attached. If there was one diagram born to display some of the concepts we now spoke about, it would be the production possibility frontier. But even before we get to drawing the diagram and showing what it is, we must understand that this diagram is drawn based on assumptions. Assumptions meaning these are some rules we put in place to make the diagram make sense to us. So when we go through it, you'll come to understand this a bit. So one of the very first assumptions we have when it comes to the production possibility frontier is assume full employment of resources in the economy. Every single man, woman, dollar, land space is being used to produce the goods we're going to talk about. Full employment of all resources. The second thing we must assume is that resources are fixed. We do not have an unlimited supply of land, labor, capital. We don't. It is scarce. And the little we have, linking back to the first assumption, we are using all to produce the goods we are about to speak about. The next assumption, it assumes that we are only able to produce two goods and services. Generally, your syllabus will tell you, I think it's capital goods and consumer goods. But in my classes, I just like to use two goods. You might just see capital goods or consumer goods in your exams, if anything. But don't be dismayed, the concepts apply the same way once you understand it. Alright, as we go through it, that's not going to be a problem. Assume we could only produce those two things, and all our finite resources are dedicated towards producing those two things. The next assumption we make is that technology is fixed. So we're not starting the conversation saying we're making t-shirts by hand, and then in the middle of the analysis, just so somebody using some automatic machine that is just knit jerseys together. Nah, technology is fixed. So throughout the whole discussion, assume we're using the same things. Assume we have the same iPhones that have the same speed, and a new one come out to make processes faster. Nah, technology is fixed in this case. Alright? So those are some of the assumptions that we're going with. And now we're going to go across the open board to draw this diagram. Now that we're on open board, let's discuss the very first, the diagram that sets off the beginning of economics. It's called the production possibility frontier, or the production possibility boundary, or probably some other name I'm forgetting as well. I primarily call it the production possibility frontier, right? What we have here is a simple axis. This axis tells us the amount of each of the goods in question that we can create. 1, 2, 3, 4, well, that's a 3. And within this diagram, we can, if we had no such thing as scarcity, we could produce infinite amounts of everything, because this number line tends to infinity, right? We could produce infinite amounts. However, we do have scarcity, meaning there is some limit to what we can produce, which is why when it comes to production possibility frontiers or production possibility boundaries, it gives you a definite limit. There is some line you're going to see there that indicates the hard limit set on what a country is able to produce. Let us consider these are consumer goods and these are capital goods. Capital goods. Because this is the typical two goods that you would see in the exams. So this line here sets out our hard limit. If we use all our resources efficiently, the most I could produce is 4 consumer goods. But the thing is, while I'm producing 4 consumer goods, I'm sacrificing all units. I can't produce any capital goods there. If I wanted to produce 3 consumer goods, hey, or if I wanted 1 capital good, in the face of that, I would have to sacrifice 1 consumer good in order to gain this 1 unit of capital good. Pardon the line. It's not that straight. But the point is intact. You see there is some opportunity cost occurring here because of the fact that I want an additional capital good. Now, as we say opportunity cost, let us look at the areas of the production possibility frontier. A crucial thing. What you must know is that anywhere within or on this line, anywhere within or on this line is attainable. You can produce it. You do have the resources to produce it. In here, and I'll get the color red for that, anywhere in this boundary, anywhere in here or on that line is what we call attainable. Now, when it comes to anything outside of the boundary, remember I said that line sets our hard limits on production, where we're using all our resources efficiently. Anything out here, well,
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man. You understand? But big up, man.
you do not have the resources in order to produce all of those things. You can't, at least not yet. So anywhere within our own is attainable. Anywhere outside is unattainable. Unattainable. It's important to note that anywhere on this line is called productively efficient. Productively efficient. Anywhere on this line. Hope I spelled efficient correctly. Anywhere on this line. Why is it called that? Because all along this boundary here, I am using all my resources maximally. I'm producing as much as I can. Given the resources, given the time, given the factor of production, I'm producing as much as I can. Anywhere within the boundary is not productively efficient. Because within this boundary, and let me just show you an example. Let's say I was just producing here. I mean, I'm producing one consumer good and one capital good, right? One consumer and one capital good. If I told you, hey, I want to produce three capital goods. In fact, I want to produce 4 capital goods. Let's go with that. I want to produce 4 capital goods. You could easily do that. You could easily do that. And if you notice, there was nothing given up in order to get that. There's no opportunity cost, and that's pivotal as well. There's no opportunity cost here when you are being inefficient. You can increase production with no opportunity cost. However, if I'm operating here, if I'm producing 2 consumer goods, and let me go back to red for that so it's clear. If I'm producing 2 consumer goods and 2 capital goods, and the country says, you know what? As a nation, I think we want 3 units of consumer goods. Because these are the 2 goods we could produce as a country. These 2 goods alone. That's an assumption. If I wanted to produce 3 consumer goods, there's no way I can do that because I'll be operating out here. There's no way I can do that without sacrificing a unit of capital good. Because I can't. This is unattainable. So the only way for me to get 3 consumer goods is by actually giving up one of the units of capital goods I was producing. Along this line is called productively efficient. Now there's one more point which we call allocative. Allocatively efficient. We put allocatively efficient. And what is allocatively efficient? What does that mean? What is allocative efficiency? It simply means along this line or as a nation, there's a particular combination that we love that suits us the best based on our needs and wants. For instance, let's just say this economy called Trinidad and Company, their economy likes 2 capital goods and 2 units of consumer goods. This point for them is allocatively efficient. This point maximizes social welfare, meaning everyone is happiest when we have 2 capital and 2 consumer goods. Now, if we were to offer them 4 units of capital goods and 1 unit of consumer good, yes, we are offering them a bundle that is productively efficient, but they are not the happiest this way. They are not the happiest. Consider this. You are happy when you are fed. However, let's just say your parents feed you with shrimp pasta, shrimp Alfredo pasta. You are happier. Yeah, along this line, I'm being fed. But there is one particular thing that is going to make you the happiest. And in this instance, this economy is made happiest by having 2 units of capital goods and 2 units of consumer goods. That's the difference between productive and allocative efficiency. So sometimes you'll find a question asking you to identify a productively efficient point, asking you to identify an attainable point, an unattainable point, an efficient point, an inefficient point, and you have to be able to identify them correctly, all right? And if you can't, just rewind this video. I think we're going to stop there. The next video we have will show us the different shapes the production possibility frontier can take. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did enjoy, like and subscribe to the channel.